There is this very beautiful quote by Buddha. It is somewhat like the secret of a healthy mind and body is when you are not, actually living in your past, when you're not, actually worrying about your future. It's the presentful thinking that leads us to conviction and clarity in life. So I just want you to reflect on that and tell us that why the presentfulness or the present thinking is way more important than any other form of thinking.
So present again, because first of all, a lot of us are hung up on our pasts, and then we keep thinking, oh, I could have done it this way, or that could have happened this way. But the thing is, it's a very basic reality that we keep forgetting, that you cannot go back and change anything. It has happened. Now, even if you were silly, stupid, or you did something very horrible, embarrassing also, you cannot step back and change it anyway. But the only thing you can look forward to is the life you have from this moment on, right? From today onwards, or from this particular second onwards, whatever you're doing, that is the life you have. So instead of regretting the past, think about how can you prevent regretting the present in the future. And that can only be done when you enjoy everything that's happening to you. So even if you're struggling, even if you're going through a lot of stress, what I mean by enjoy is that take it all in, feel all the feelings in the present, and just remind yourself that even though I'm upset right now, it's adding to my life. It's some way or the other adding to my life. And how can I not think about the future or the past? Just be here and take this moment in. So most of the times, hopefully, whoever our listeners are will be having positive experiences. And when they start living 100% in the positive experiences, right, their practice of gratitude improves, their happiness, they're just happier in life because they're completely present where they are. They're not hung up on the post they have to do later tonight. They're not looking at their phones. They're not looking at texts. They're just enjoying what is happening right now. So it's great. It comes from Buddhism, and I practice Buddhism. So it's excellent. It's very beautiful.
A lot of times what happens is that this buildup actually comes from social media. Okay, the FOMO, the fear of missing out, actually piles up when we scroll through our social media handles. So something that has been on my mind and something that I've been finding very resistantful is that how to give yourself break from all these toxicity that we actually face on social media.
So this used to happen with me also earlier. I think 2-3 years back, when I would look at social media and I would keep thinking, at least pre-pandemic, because I used to create a lot of travel content back then. I used to love traveling. Once a month I would travel, and I would see that all the other people were traveling to better destinations, taking better videos than me and all that. But then, and then I would have that FOMO. But now when I look at similar videos in my niche or any other content also, I don't feel that way. And I realized that this happened because I took an active pause of reminding myself that, hey, why are you feeling sad when or upset or annoyed when you see other people doing the things they love? Because at the end of the day, if somebody is sharing something fantastic on social media, they're sharing their happiness, right? They're sharing their whatever they're passionate about. Why should we feel bad about it? At the end of the day, it's in our own head how we take it. Because a lot of people will tell you that take direct breaks from take periodic breaks from social media and all that. But in today's world, you can't really take a break from all this internet web stimulation that you get all the time, right? Somewhere or the other, you'll see, read, whatever. So, and after the break also, you'll get back to the same thing. You'll watch the same things. So instead of changing the environment, change what you are thinking, change what you have in your own head. So change the way you're looking at things. So I used to get really jealous of people who were talking on Instagram very confidently, especially women who were talking very confidently, expressing themselves just however they are silly, funny and all that. And I used to feel that, oh, why are they doing this? Like, that's so stupid. Why would they do that? And then I reminded myself that, hey, why am I thinking this way? They are just being themselves. What is causing me to feel this negative emotion? That's when I realized that I was not expressing myself truly on social media. So it was an insecurity that was making me dislike other people. So the problem wasn't with other people, it was with my own thinking. And since I've changed that, I have no FOMO. Whenever I look at other people's happy travel videos or whatever videos also, I love it.
Do you think that content creation in some parts has helped you to cope up this?
For sure. Yeah, you're right about that. Because every conversation that I have with people, right, or everything I go through, I make it into content, because that has become my coping mechanism, sort of, where I learn something from it and then I share it with my audience. And it just, it helps me as well as some other people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I think for someone who's finding this lack of confidence in their life, I actually advise people to at least make 3 solo videos. Okay, if you're not confident in yourself, you should actually, put a camera and put a mic in front of you, because what I believe is that a camera and a mic are the most judgmental things. Okay. So if you have a camera and a mic in front of you, and if you try to speak up in front of all these things, you'll actually develop an innate ability from where you could actually experience something new about yourself. And I think sitting here and talking, I think when I record videos, this happens with me a lot of times, that what happens is that while I'm talking, while I'm sharing an instance, I sometimes laugh at my own self. Ki yaar, actually, to whom I'm talking to, why am I getting so much, animated when I'm experiencing or sharing an experience in general? So I think something that has came out of me is that I actually tried making a lot of videos. A lot of them have not actually worked up to the mark, but still I advise people that you should actually sit in front of camera and you should actually try talking that how has it actually affected you. So something that I wanted to share on. So moving on.
For sure, you're right about that.
Yeah. So I did this poll on my Instagram a few days back where I asked people about to share something about human psychology. It was a AMA, so I asked them to give their questions and I'll be answering it. So there was this one question which I thought that I should be asking to you. So I'll take this time out and I'll ask this question to you. So Ayush Dubey responds to my question and he says that how human psychology works in case of relationships. Why do people always tend to get bored, be it male or female?
So human psychology in respect to other people is the same. Like it, of course. The thing is, there are multiple layers to this answer, actually. The boredom comes from, first of all, a lot of young people settle for relationships that are not really meant for them. If you're A and then you have 3 women in your life or 3 people in your life who are B, C, and D, right? And maybe you're the most compatible with D. But the thing is, B and C are more available. They're in your city, they meet you very often. And even though you don't have a relationship vibe with them, if one of them goes for it, like if one of them asks you out, people usually tend to say yes from the fear of missing out, that they don't have a relationship. So instead of waiting out, they end up settling for relationships that are not meant for them. It doesn't mean that the person, the B or C person they ended up with is a bad person. It's just that they don't align, their values and their interests and their passions don't match. So maybe so the thing is, when you actually end up waiting and then meeting the person who aligns not just with your values and interests and principles in life, but also have similar goals in life, even though you're in very different career fields, professional fields, but the way you approach your goals is similar. The way you look at life is similar. Your point of view towards life is similar. You're not going to get bored. So the boredom actually comes from settling for relationships just because we have fear of missing out.
And I think this is where it gets actually interesting. So a lot of times, you have few certain peoples in your friend circle who complain that, I cannot confess my emotions to my parents or to my loved ones. So I think this is something that has been perpetuating since a very long time. So I found this information in one of your videos, which I was actually researching on. So it was like our parents and their parents, actually, they belong from a year where India was going through a economical crisis. Okay, now what our mindset or our ancestors' mindset was to get sustainability and to get settled after a point of time, because we wanted to settle, and that has reciprocated towards our parents. So that is the reason I feel that they always advise us to get settled. That is why they always tell us to not take risk in the important moments of your life. So a lot of time this happens is that a lot of my friends actually crib about this. They say that my parents are very conservative about me. So I want you to reflect on that, and I want you to explain this whole phenomena that I described.
Yeah, you're right about that point. So our parents' generation, anybody who's above 45, 50 right now, that generation, and then the generation before that, they were growing up at a time, like the people who are in their 50s were growing up in the 70s, right? Or in the 80s. And then before that also. Those people were going through a lot of crisis in our country. In the 70s, we had the war, we had the emergency, we had so much going on, riots going on, that was making survival the most important thing, right? And second, financial stability, because India had just gotten independence in 47, and then we needed to recover as a country financially, economically. So what everybody wanted was to get a stable job that's going to stay with them for life. For example, a government job. Government jobs were very popular and looked at as something fantastic in that generation, because it stayed with you for life. Whether you performed well or not, it stayed with you for life. Nobody gets fired from a government job.
Till age 60, you are absolutely fixed.
Yeah. And then you get pension also. So in the times when opportunities were less, because technically our culture, our socioeconomic behavior, our relationships, our choices are all interlinked, right? Interlinked with the country's progress also. Because in the last 10 years, we have seen lots of startups coming, lots and lots of startups. In I think 2020 or 2021, we had 22 unicorns from our own country, right? And the first unicorn in our country took so many years to become a unicorn, but in 1 year, 22 companies became unicorns. So that means there are more opportunities for young people to get different jobs also, to do jobs which are not very, not very traditional. So that is why that impacted how our previous generations think. And they're always going to be, no matter how rich they get, no matter how ahead our country gets, they're going to be in the survival mode. The habit of saving, the habit of having a safety net stays in that generation. But if you look at our generation, you look at millennials and Gen Zs, because there are so many opportunities, we know that even if my business doesn't work tomorrow, I can do something else. I can go find 5 other ways of earning money. I know that. I don't have to rely on one thing. So that definitely changes how, when I have kids, how I'm going to raise them, what my expectations I would have from them. So it's definitely not going to be about stability. Of course, it's going to be slightly different what happens in that era, of course. So that's where it comes from.
Beautiful. I think we need to do our own research in these aspects, and we need to come out with our own information, because I do not say that you need not to listen to your parents. Listening to your parents has individually helped me a lot, because when they share their experience, I get to know that what are my own loopholes and how can I actually avoid them while moving forward. So I think it's very important to listen to your parents, but it's also necessary to do your own research as well. Okay, because the opportunities and the opportunities that are shifting and molding in the today's time, we are much more aware about them than our parents. So it's okay to hear them. It's absolutely fine to hear them, but you need to do your own research and you need to find out what are the areas where you can progress in a adequate manner. So
exactly.